Hola, hi fashion doll lovers. My name is Christopher y bienvenidos to my channel. In today's video, I'll be doing a recap of the 3 dolls that were offered in this year's W Club membership. So sit back and relax because I will be sharing my thoughts of each girl individually. So let's get into today's video, shall we? Before I get into each one of the dolls, I want to share some information that is going to be very important for those that are interested in the W Club and have not yet registered. Registration is open till March 21st, 9 p.m. of 2023. So, if you're watching this video and have not registered yet, you still have time. Registration fee is a $50 fee, one time only, to be a club member. Now, if you're interested in any one of the 3 dolls, it is a $30 deposit per doll on top of a $50 fee. Let me repeat that again. The club membership is a $50 fee. Each doll that is being offered has a $30 deposit on top of the $50 fee in order for you to get them. The dolls are priced at $160, but the remainder of the balance will be due when the doll is available. At the moment, in order to place your order, you just have to put a $30 deposit. So let's say you get the membership in 2 dolls, 30 and 30 is 60, plus your 50, you got like a total of one time. That is the most rule-ish that I'm gonna give, because although I've been a club member for 6 years, I don't feel pretty confident on breaking down every aspect of the club. I feel like every year I sign on and I use it for what my advantages are or what I want out of the club, that I don't ever really probably look at all the details, if I'm being fully transparent. I am one of those people that likes to be a member just so I can have access to the things that I like at retail price. I've done the secondhand market. I don't want to go there again. And I'm at the point now where if it's just one doll, then I prefer to have the one doll that I really like at retail price and not be like, oh, I'm not going to become a member because last year sucked. And then something happens in the 12 months that the club is around and you're like, oh, wow, I really want that doll. Let me try to figure it out to the side. So I usually always sign up. Don't really know what the benefits are fully other than I get first dibs on what I want. That's all that technically matters to me. But there are articles and there's information on the website for Integrity Toys. If you yourself are interested and want to know more that I am not providing, feel free to go there. I'll actually leave the link to the website of Integrity Toys in the caption below, so you have that information as well. Now, let's get into the doll, shall we? Enough of the chit-chat of rules and regulations. Up first, new face, Alejandra Luna. Right, so up first for the new face, it's Alejandra Luna. I'm going to read the specs, but I'm also going to insert a photo of the specs up here so you guys can see them as well. So if you want to pause the video and get a clear breakdown of her information, you can do so that way. But she is called Billion Dollar Beauty Alejandra Luna. She is the Alejandra face sculpt. Body type is NF 3.0. Foot sculpt is high heeled. Skin tone is FR white. Hair color. Here is where pronunciation is a problem. They're calling it a pale crimson. I just call it a redhead. But again, the proper spelling is there, so apologies if I messed it up. Eyelashes are hand applied, and she does have them. Those are the specs. Now let's get into the doll, shall we? I want to share my overall feelings at the end and the conclusion. So I'm going to try my best to just focus on the actual doll right now. And I'm going to say this. I personally love that Alejandra was presented in a variation because that was her first introduction. And as I mentioned earlier, although I've been a member of the club for 6 years, in those 6 years I have not been able to build a really solid relationship with a dealer. And that doll is one of those dolls that I felt that just got away. She was a dealer exclusive, and I just really wish there was a different way of dealing with that nowadays, because the dealers, I just have not had a good experience. Let me just leave it at that. So I was very happy to see this variation be introduced as a club exclusive, because then it allowed me to have a second chance of something that I was really interested in the first go. I also know a lot of people that also do not know or have a good relationship with dealers, and B, we're not a part of convention. So those were the only two opportunities that Alejandra was first introduced. And if you weren't able to catch her one of those ways, at this point you still don't have one. And I'm sure a lot of people were interested. She made quite the splash. She's a beautiful doll. And I say that because although I missed out on the opportunity with the dealer doll, I was able to go to conventions, so I was able to get that Alejandra. But I love this look. I'm gonna be honest. I have a weakness for redheads and green eyes. So this combo and I was sold. I was sold. And I don't know, something about the outfit in silver, I also like a lot as a restyler. I looked at that and I was just like, the outfit being in black and in silver makes me feel like it's gonna be easier to use again in other, in another capacity. I feel like the gold one is a little bit harder to style. I mean, who doesn't like a challenge? But I also like simplicity. So I saw a lot of the benefits with her, and I saw a lot of the positives with Alejandra Luna. So out of the three, I will have to say she is my favorite, but it's because she encompasses so many different things that make the concept of a variation correct. So I hope that made sense. Right? Okay, great. I'm gonna let that settle in there. Up next, we have fashion royalty, Eugenia Frost. Okay, so like I did with Luna, I'm calling her by her last name. I'm gonna put the specs up here, but I'm also gonna read them off of the paper that I have. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. Summer Rose Eugenia Frost. Head sculpt Eugenia. Body type FR 6.0. Foot sculpt high heeled. Skin tone Hungarian. Hair color sunny blonde. Eyelashes, yes, hand applied. I giggled at the sunny blonde because I'm like blonde and sunny in my head are the same thing. But anyways, let's not get down that rabbit hole. Eugenia. It was mentioned that she's been asked for. She is a character that we do not see that very often, but I'm not gonna lie to you. When she was first mentioned, I thought it was somebody else. My ears might have not been working, but I swear that I heard another name of a doll that I've actually never seen in the 6 years that I've been collecting. I'm gonna let you guys be the detectives on that and try to figure out who am I talking about. I have to say that this variation for me didn't strike the same chord as the Alejandra. Here's why. I feel like Eugenia in the last few times that we've seen her has been very safe. The original one of this, she was a brunette. And I feel like the last few variations that we've got of her, she was somewhat of a blonde. And the first year I joined, believe it or not, the upgrade doll with Eugenia, and she was in a darker skin tone, but the eye makeup and the eye painting looked a little cartoonish, so I let go of her after a few years. And I feel like Eugenia she almost needs like a makeover, and this wasn't the makeover I was personally hoping for her. Sorry, I thought about the skirt that she's wearing and it made me stop because the print is so busy and it's just so very distracting that it okay, let me explain this. In the Alejandra variation, it is the same look in a different color, right? In the Eugenia variation, it's the same style, but very different fabrics. In the original one of this look, the fabric is like shiny and it has stripes with a white blouse. It's very simple, but it makes a statement. In this one, it's very loud and it's very busy. It's almost like she's giving a mix between the 80s and the 1950s. It's like she couldn't decide which era she wanted to be in. And for that, I looked at her sideways many times in the presentation. I already own the Secret Garden Eugenia, who is a blonde with a natural makeup palette and a low ponytail. So for me, I didn't see the need for me. of this doll looking so much like another doll that's already been out recently for a character that we've hardly ever seen. So when it came to Eugenia, I kind of was very much like, was this really the moment for her? I feel like maybe she's had a few more moments in the last few years that probably would have been better for variations. And this one left me very questionable, to the point that I can only think of restyling the top, but nothing else. And as someone who looks at the dolls from head to toe to see what else I can create, that felt like a problem. And I'll leave Eugenia at that. Okay? And now we're moving on to the final and third doll. And of course she was left for last because, well, she has owned the club, I feel like, for the last couple of years. Miss Poppy Parker. Okay, so here we have Lemon Lullaby Poppy Parker. Head sculpt is Poppy. Body type is PP 1.5. Foot sculpt is high heel. Skin tone is A-tone. Hair black. Eyelashes hand applied. Now, I have to say something. In the FR specs, the body type was 6 point something. And in the new face, it was 3 point something. Poppy's still at 1 point something? I don't collect the girl that often, and she is quite the staple, so I could see why it's still at 1. But, like, not even any kind of adjustment has happened in the last few years that she's still at 1 point something? That stood out to me when I was looking at her specs and writing them down to share them, where I was just like, she's still at a 1 for the body type? And I think when I'm thinking of adjustment, I'm thinking maybe smoothing something out, maybe different joints. I don't know, but everyone else has seemed to have a makeover in their body. I'm not touching the sculpt. The sculpt is iconic at this point. Not even gonna get into that. So that was something that caught my eye and I wanted to mention. Now, unlike the first two dolls we spoke about, the Alejandra and Eugenia, which are the second variation of an original look, this Poppy Parker is the third variation of the look that we've already seen twice before. Now, personally, I never got to see the Alejandra. I went to the convention where the Eugenia was, and I do have that outfit, so I was able to see her firsthand. This Poppy Parker is from the same convention as Eugenia, so I was able to see the pink version in hand. And I must tell you, although I'm not the biggest Poppy Parker fan, supporter, follower, whichever one floats your boat, I will say that this particular look is one of my favorites. And I remember when I had the pink one from convention, I strongly considered keeping the outfit and selling the doll, but then I was like, oh no, she'll be better off to someone else in the full look, because it's a moment. I'm not sorry. Like the dress, the robe, I'm all about a good night moment, lingerie, robe, the word wasn't coming out. And the yellow of this look had me this close to almost putting in a deposit. I feel like I've already let slip who I got, or by now you should probably already know. But if you don't know by now, you should hit the subscribe button, because the reality is you should be watching to know who it is when they come, because I'm not going to confirm it, but I feel like you know. But anyways, I digress. I love that it was done in yellow, but again with Poppy, I find it so interesting that the third variation is the African American one, not the second, which then says the same thing with like Eugenia and Alejandra, now that I've said that about Poppy. Now, step back. Give me a moment. I'm not going to mention her name. But there's a very famous doll. And usually when she does variations of something, she does variations of skin tone. So everyone's represented in that look, one way or the other. Like in the holiday line, there's like 3 to 4 different people in the same holiday dress. So I find it interesting that we have not produced variations, but we've just given variations of outfits. Not that much of a variation in dolls. I'm gonna let that sit right there. Again, love this look, but I'm a little on some why a third? Why now? I like it, but couldn't we find something else? I didn't share this earlier because I was waiting for this part of the video to say it in. I'm gonna be honest, when Jesse started saying moments and revisiting, I allowed a part of myself to think that he meant going into like archives and revisiting things from a time when many of us weren't members, the newer ones. And you know, they're the dolls that a lot of us joined the club for, knowing that history, but it's not where the club has gone. And Jesse has done this before, where he has revisited something from an archive and made it modern. I don't remember the name of the doll because I usually rename my dolls, but it was an Alejandra. Sorry, no, it was a Naja. Oop. It was a Naja who had the two space buns with the braids and the purple and black dress that was short. And I remember she was inspired by a Holy Grail doll for many, but in reality, she was kind of just a variation because she had all of the elements of that doll just in a very different color and very different vibe. That was very modern. So the reality is when he started talking about revisiting these moments, I was like, oh, he's done this and he's really good at revisiting these moments and making them modern. I'm really excited for something old. And then Alejandra came on the screen and I was like, wait. That's a little recent. But then I allowed the business side to come in and then I thought, you know what? I just made a video talking about I can't believe that I got my upgrade dolls right when it was time for a new club year to start. So perhaps, maybe, revisiting something that's been so close is a way to speed up the process to deliver dolls quickly. A very big complaint that we have all had as a club in the last year and a half is that the deadlines have been pushed back to the extreme and that we've been waiting a lot longer for dolls that we usually get faster. So I allowed the initial shock of, really? Her? That soon? And then I went business and I was like, perhaps this is a way to make things move quicker because as he mentioned, and he specifically said it, the factory already has these patterns and they already have these materials. So reproducing this should be quicker. So let that settle in. I am on the same fence as many where I'm just like, why not something new? Why something so soon? But then if we think of maybe this is a filler, maybe this is a way to kind of hand something to the club members quicker while they wait on newer things that have been taking longer. I mean, Jesse in particular has mentioned how, you know, he's worked on a mold for more than 3 years and how some of his designs have had to go back. And so they've always been very transparent with the issues that they can't control and issues that we can't push to happen faster because we're not in the position to do that. It's one of those things that no matter how much money you spend, you can't really tell someone to go faster on something because then only will they mess that up. The more you ask for something to be sped up, the faster quality will be overshadowed. So I think it's a cute thought. I hope it's for business reasons. I am happy that the Alejandra was offered because I really love that look. The Eugenia was a little questionable for me. Love to see Poppy in darker skin tones because I feel like that's something that the club has been asking for a very long time. But overall, these are just club offerings. If we think of the last few years in the club, the dolls that have been offered with the membership never really give too much of what's coming. And then that was that. Then there was the one year where there was that Poppy. It was like Boston Nova. For some reason, I remember her name. And she was supposed to introduce Palm Springs, and then Palm Springs got completely pushed back, and it's coming now in 2023. Okay? So, another reminder of there's things that they have planned, but there's things that they can't control. And I do think that the reason these dolls are being introduced now, I hope, is to speed up the process of being able to ship things out to people sooner. So for that, I'm thankful, and for that, I appreciate them. And I do not make the assumption that this is what the club years to hold. Another thing that I mentioned kind of when I was discussing the rules and regulations of the fee. Please remember that there are 12 months in a year. And that although the last year might have not had something you loved, don't let that defer you from not joining and being able to have something at retail price. Many that collect these dolls know what they cost secondhand market, and if you are able to just pay $50 a year to have a retail price access to something that you might actually love, please do it. You know, even if it's just one doll, you're saving yourself some headache. Again, we can't guarantee everything, and sometimes when we place too much emotions and a lot of assumptions, we end up empty-handed. So it's best to just have an open mind. Remember, it is a hobby, it is enjoyable, it is for peace and love. So take everything with an open heart. And with that, I leave the video because I feel like I've already rambled a little too much. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from with this. And until next time, everyone, I will see you in the next video. So I hope you hit the subscribe button and leave a comment and like, because, well, they help. You know what, whatever. Adios.